Hi, my name is Wolkowinski and I swing Indian clubs. I got asked the other day by a friend of mine, what in the world is an Indian club? Is it a bowling pin? Well, the answer to that is no, it's not a bowling pin. And it's a mistake that's often made by antique dealers especially. They get a pair of these in to the store and they think these are bowling pins. They're not bowling pins, they're Indian clubs, and they're for exercise that you hold in your hands like this and then you swing them, as opposed to having them lined up at the end of a bowling alley and then going up the other end and throwing a ball at them. Two completely different things, so that's that sorted out. So what in the world is an Indian club? And why should I swing them? It's a great question. Just very briefly, Indian clubs were very popular from about the 1860s through to about the 1930s, and then organised sports like gridiron, baseball, soccer, cricket, all those sort of sports, hockey, another one, were kind of took over, and then Indian clubs swinging died off. And it's a pity because it's a very beneficial type of exercise, and especially for all of us as we get older. And I'll say straight away, I'm 68 now, going on 69 in January, and I swing them every day. Now, Indian clubs are small, they're lightweight, portable, and very effective. They have huge therapeutic benefits over a short period of time, which is fantastic. So if you're looking for something to increase postural control, coordination and rhythm, and shoulder stability and mobility, reversing the effects of upper cross syndrome. You know, we're all doing this every day, so we're all scrunching up, we're scrunching up over our phones and so on. The Indian clubs will open you out. Now, just as a guideline, Indian clubs can be made of wood or plastic. They vary in weight from one pound per club to 2 pounds per club. And here I've got different clubs here. These ones here, for example, are 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds, 3 pounds. These ones that I'm going to use for this purpose of this demonstration are 1 pound. And swing Indian clubs is not something where you use heavy weights. The object of this exercise is precise control of movement, and patterning is the goal. And by patterning, I mean this. Now, that may look incredibly complex to the uninitiated, and when my friend who asked me what in the world are Indian clubs, I showed him that, and it was just it was a blank look across their face. So what I'm going to go through now is some basic exercises that you can start with and then progress gradually to more complex things. Now, there is a learning curve with Indian clubs, but as you will see, I will show you some exercises right now that are very simple to start off with, and in fact I will say they're as simple as walking and swinging your arms. So here we go. Now I'm just going to go through with 2 clubs and just talk about the various positions. Where your feet should be roughly a shoulder width apart. So if you can see, my clubs are here on my shoulders, coming down, that's where my feet should be, either side. And this position gives you good stability, and you can move around and twist your trunk very easily. Now, the next thing is grip. The clubs you should have very relaxed and let the club slide down in your hand so that the ball or the pommel is lying in the heel of your palm here, and then your fingers gently wrap around it. And this, what's called at ease, which is a military term, the clubs hang down here at the sides, and then we swing them up and set them down in what's called in the old books the order position. I like to call this the starting position. And from here, from the starting position, you push up to the Y position, and this is where the swings happen from. So, just going through that again. Feet shoulder width apart. The clubs swing up and settle down here. It just go into this sort of soft pocket that's here. The grip changes, so the grip that I showed you from when the club's hanging up the side comes up to here, and as the club turns over you take on a hammer grip. And I'm just going to show that sort of very, very closely to the hammer. So there's the club as it's hanging from the side. You can see the position of my fingers. My fingers are down the club, and as the club comes up and sits into the pocket, it goes into the hammer grip. And there you can see the hammer grip nice and clearly. So now the pinky is lying on the pommel. The ring finger, the third finger, should be just touching the pommel, but it's actually on the handle, as you can see. So if I swing the club down, the ring finger acts as a hinge. That's what you need to know. So if I show you from the side, feet shoulder width apart, clubs hanging down by the side of my body, swing them up, set them down. From this position, hammer grip, we push up. Again, saber grip. The saber grip is the same one as down here. There's no change. So if I take the club straight up to the top, there's no grip change. There's only a grip change when you swing up, set them down, and then push them up. So you just go through the changes, and it's very easy to do. Right, so there's the basic positions. Now, here we go, walking. So now, as I said earlier on in the introduction, I want to talk a little bit about walking. When we're walking, we're swinging our arms. We should be swinging our arms in time with our feet. So I'll just do that again. So there, we're swinging our arms. And now, with a pair of clubs, I'm just going to pick mine up. What I'm going to do now is basically, I'm not going to walk, but I'm going to swing the clubs. And this is the same position as we were talking about with the clubs hanging down on the third finger or the ring finger at the sides, turning round, and basically, now here the feet need to be a little bit closer together because we're swinging from front to back as opposed to from side to side. And this is called a pendulum swing. So basically I'm swinging the club up, I'm keeping my arms straight, and I want to swing the clubs to my shoulder height, not higher up just at the moment. And as you're doing this, you'll feel that there's a very, very gentle pull through all the connective tissues in your arm, and all the joints are being just gently pulled out. And it's actually a very, very nice motion. Your arms are straight, you're pivoting from the shoulder here, and the movement is very, very nice and straightforward. Now, as you get better, or if you're mobile enough, then you're going to start turning the body a little bit with each swing. And as you can see, the club at the back now is coming up to my shoulders, whereas before I was swinging fairly low, very comfortable, without a body turn. And now I'm swinging just horizontally with the floor. Now the pendulum swing. So facing front, shoulders square. Bring the clubs up into the starting position. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw the clubs to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is called a front pendulum. Now, you can do this also. If you're not confident about doing it with 2 clubs, you can do it with 1. So I'm going to throw it again to my left. So 1, 2, 3, Now notice here, I'm standing square. As the club is coming down towards my feet, I'm turning my shoulders to keep my arms straight. So when the club is up here, my shoulders are at 45 degrees. There's the angle there. And as I turn and bring the club down to my feet, I square up, hand comes up to the side. That's the front pendulum. And obviously this can be done now. Bring the club up and swing with the other arm. So I'm turning now the opposite way. So my shoulders are turning to the right, where I'm swinging the left arm. And my shoulders are turning to the left, where I'm swinging the right arm. Now I think it's worth pointing out at this stage that you've just seen two different types. Although it's the same swing, it's called the pendulum. One I've done with my shoulders facing the camera and one I've done this way. Now this is basically swinging from front to back, otherwise known as sagittal. Okay, and this is now swinging on the frontal plane, which means that I'm going from side to side. Here we go. So there we go. So this is the frontal plane, and a lot of the Indian club work that I'll be showing you is performed on the frontal plane. Apart from the pendulums which have been done, I've demonstrated, apart from the pendulums that I've just demonstrated on the sagittal plane or from front to back. And now I'm going to basically do a little bit of what I'd call a combination. A combination is putting a few moves together. And this one includes a hand change. So we're taking one club, and I'm going to start swinging it here. 2, 3, and change hands. 1, 2, 3, change hands. 1, 2, 3, change hands. Now, what the benefit of this is that you're actually using your fingers and you're moving your fingers so that all the forearms are engaging. And I'm just going to now demonstrate this in slow motion. So as the club is coming from here, again, the pommel is lying in the heel of your palm here. It's very important. Look, I know this is a 1 pound club, it's a light club, but the third finger is holding the pommel, pushing up against it, and as I'm bringing the club down, I'll bring it down to my body here. Now then I'm basically stop swinging from my shoulder, swing to my arm, bring the club up. Now the second hand grabs hold of the club here. Look where it is. There's the pommel. How do I get the club down there? As I drop the club, now watch what happens very, very slowly. It comes to here, loose grip, and it drops down. And the third finger catches the club. So by the time I get up to here, it's in the correct position. So watch. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a pendulum with a hand change. So you're engaging both hands and you're having to think about it. And one of the best ways of doing it is literally do 4 swings to the side as I demonstrated earlier on. And here we go again. So 1, 2, don't forget to turn, 3, and 4. Change. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there you have the pendulum swing with a hand change. Now, as you get better at swinging the pendulum, you can swing higher. And what I'm talking about is to get your arm, rather than having a shoulder height here, So there we go there. I'm talking about getting your arm up to here. And this is what this would look like. So 1. Now you've got to bear in mind that this is slower because the club is traveling further away. And of course you can do a hand change here, up to there. Get the other hand out of the way, put it on your hip to get it out of the way. Hand change coming up, here we go. So that's an elevated pendulum swing. Okay, so now you've mastered the shoulder height pendulum, the elevated pendulum with your arm at 45 degrees. Next we're going to look at the pendulum from the top. So we're swinging 1 and stop, 2 and stop, 3 and stop, 4 and stop. Hand change. 1 and stop, 2 and stop, 3 and stop, 4 and stop. Now, the next progression to this, you've actually completed a 360 and you've gone both ways. Now, this is basically now we've got to the position where we're doing the front circle. The front circle on an Indian club, but the shoulder is the pivot, the arm is nice and straight, and we're turning away, turning like this to keep the arm straight, basically. That's the challenge. So here are some front circles. Just remember, swing the club up to here, shoulder, feet shoulder width apart, club to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hand change coming up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop at the top. Swing away. That way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hand change. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, did you notice something? Did you notice that there was a change of direction? And this brings me into the next sort of thing that I need to understand. As the club is dropping down here, now I'm swinging away from the body, away from my center line. So there's my center line here. Starting from the Y position, I'm swinging away from the center line, turning, coming across the body and up to the top. Right. And now, if you have a look, I'm swinging away from the body. As I do the hand change, very, very slowly, this hand continues and it's swinging to my right, but it's actually going across the body first. This is called an inward swing or an inward circle. Okay. So now I'm stopping at the top, and what I'm doing now is reversing. So I'm reversing back out again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hand changing, dropping the club down, and again the club's reversed, and now I'm swinging to the left, inward to the left. And 4. Stopping here, stopping at the top, bring the club down safely and at ease. Now, so as you can see, there's some mental work going on here because you've got to think about it. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a demonstration with a heavier club of the same thing and roughly at the sort of speed that this should be done at, because everything that I've demonstrated right now has been quite slow. So we're going to change the clubs over and we'll pop these 2 away. Okay, I'm going to do the front circle now with a 2.5 pound club. So starting position, Y position. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hand change. inward. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop at the top. Change direction. Outward. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hand change. Inward. 1, 2, 3, 4. And stop. As you improve and your swings get better and you're doing your full circles, both inward and outward, this is the next stage. You take both clubs, take them from the at ease position, starting position, Y position. And this time round, I'm going to swing the clubs to my left. So I'm going to swing them down here. Notice my shoulders have turned. I want an imaginary piece of, this is called a parallel swing. Imaginary piece of string joining the clubs. As the clubs come down to my feet, I square my shoulders up. As they come up on the other side, the clubs, the right hand obviously moves out, the left hand is slightly shortened. As they come up to the top, my shoulders are square again. So again, the clubs swing down, shoulders turn to the left, shoulders square, shoulders turn to the right, shoulders square. Here's the circles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop at the top. Reverse. We're going to swing to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop at the top. Bring the clubs down. Relax. Okay, so that's called a parallel swing. First to the left, then to the right. I've done 4 to each side. As you build up, you can build up to 10 swings per side. And then I like to use a clock like I've got up here. And I always start on the hour. And I swing for a minute. In one direction, change over, swing from another direction. Now, one of the benefits of Indian clubs is, because we're talking about, we've got this sort of crossed syndrome. Indian clubs opens you out. And I just want to mention something about breathing right now. When the clubs come up to the top, it opens your chest out so you can take a nice deep breath of air. When they come down to your feet, your chest is getting smaller and you breathe out. Okay, so let's just have a look at that in action. So the club's up to the top, deep breath of air, breathing out, breathing in, out, in, out, in, reverse, out, in, out, in. Very important. Just the fact that you're breathing properly when you swing Indian clubs means that you're, when you're breathing in, your diaphragm is pushing down on all your organs, it's stabilizing your core, and you're feeling nice and strong. And also, I just want your chin up a little bit. So just, you know, don't be looking for keys and stuff on the floor. You know, I don't want to see this. You know, what's happening on the floor that's so interesting? You don't want to know what's on the floor. Head nice and forward. So you've got a good poise now. I mean, you're looking forward and you're swinging that club from here out to the side and continuing on this cycle. So now I would like to introduce you to what's called the back circle. And we'll start with one club first. And I'm going to introduce you to the back circle. Starting position, Y position. Feet shoulder width apart. As I swing the club down here, the club's going to come up on my left, and now I'm going to swing the club over my shoulder, turning through and swinging out again. And the movement of the shoulders actually creates that back circle. So now let's turn around so you can see it. 1, over to the back, throw it out. 1, over to the back, throw it out. So here we go at speed. 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to change hands in reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4. The rotation of the shoulders and that club travelling as it's coming from here, pardon me, it's from here to here. There's the movement. So you can see that the shoulders are rotating. And now the nicest thing is you can do this in parallel. Do you remember the parallel swing? So the parallel swing, here we go. 1, 2. Now watch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop at the top. 1, 2, 3. Stop at the top. Bring the clubs down. Starting position, lower them down. Okay. Now, I hope that's shown you a little bit about some very, very basic movements of Indian clubs. They're fantastic for the shoulders. They really help you, and a little tip that's something that you can do for the day. If you just imagine you're standing to do this. Now, I'm going to stand with my side to the camera. I'm going to put my hands down at the sides, palms facing back. And now my shoulders are relaxed, and if I push down with my palms, you can see that my shoulders go to the back. It's just a great way to work on your shoulders, even if you're standing queuing up for something in the shops or whatever. Just do that a couple of times. I mean, you feel nice and straight, your head's up, all your breathing tracts are clear. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope this helps you in making a decision about swinging clubs or starting to swing Indian clubs. I think they're fantastic. I love doing it. I've been swinging them for 10 years now, and I find that they are incredibly helpful just with well-being and so on. Then, and I'm just going to show you very, very quickly, as you get better at it, there's lots of other things to learn. You can learn alternate arm movements. You can learn to swing synchronous heart shapes, and I'm just going to demonstrate a few things here. So synchronous heart shapes, do you remember that movement that I showed you right at the beginning? Here it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, that movement basically is almost the same. Her hands are working outward, but here's the same movement here, almost the same. So if I stop my right arm, there's half of the movement there. And now if I engage my right arm, there's the movement there. So you can progress. And as you get better, then you can start messing around with making each arm do something completely different. And then more complex stuff too, which is just such fun. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.